start processing all the vehicle and the spacecraft parameter based on the onboard computer residing in the rocket. अब हम लॉन्च से 13 मिनट की दूरी पर ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस ऑथराइज कर दिया गया है इस वक्त, और 12 मिनट लॉन्च से 12 मिनट पहले ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस एक्चुअली इनिशियल हुआ। अब आपके स्क्रीन पर इस वक्त देख रहे हैं -13 मिनट्स फॉर द लॉन्च।
-13 minutes.
So countdown is at -12 minutes 52 seconds. If you look at the weather today the weather here, the launch site has been very clear and favorable. In fact, yesterday we had a little bit of cloudy conditions. But some of the important factors when it comes to weather is the wind speeds on the ground and in flight, and of course any lightning activities that may prevail whenever there is an overcast conditions. The specialist team had a good look at the measured wind profile, and the data indicates the ground wind speed very benign for the launch. The upper altitude winds are also very favorable. What you're seeing on your screen is Mr. Kiran Kumar, Chairman ISRO, Secretary Department of Space. At launch pad, a very close monitoring of the wind and weather conditions take place from the start of the launch campaign, and the activities become intense as we approach the launch. अब एक नजर the launch integration activities के video documentary पर. So we'll bring to you a short video capsule of the video integration activities.
Roger.
So first stage of the rocket, which comprises of the 5 segments, is being flagged off from the technical facility and being moved to the vehicle assembly building. So आप इस वक्त जो स्क्रीन पर देख रहे हैं, जो solid motor first stage, the core stage है, उसका पहला अंग is being placed on the mobile launch pedestal. The first solid core motor, which is 138 tons of propellant, consists of 5 segments which are assembled one over the other, finally making it as a S139 first stage. So integration of the various segments of the S138 stage. After all the 5 segments are assembled, the igniter which primarily initiates the ignition for the solid motor has been integrated.
Mark -11 minutes.
This is the flag off of the 6 solid strap-on motors. As I was mentioning, the PSLV XL has the solid core and 6 solid strap-on motors with 12 tons of propellant loading each. So now we have assembled all the 6 solid strap-on motors to the core stage, and this is the interstage which is fitted on top of the first stage to make way for the integration of the second stage. The second liquid stage, which is also called as the PS2 stage, has 40 tons of liquid propellant. After undergoing all the checks at the SHAR facilities, is brought to the vehicle assembly building for its integration to the first stage. So this is a view of the integration of the second stage of the rocket. The third and the fourth stage, which is a solid and liquid stage, comes as a single composite. The third stage is also called as S7 stage, and the fourth stage, the PS4 stage, has 2.5 tons of propellant. This is a view of the integrated third and fourth stage of the rocket, which is being flagged off for its final assembly to the launch vehicle. And once the assembly of the third and fourth stage is carried out on the launch vehicle, the entire launch vehicle is ready to receive the satellite as the next phase of activity. So what you're seeing on your screen is the integration of the third and fourth stage to the second stage of the rocket. IRNSS 1E this time has been taken directly to the Satellite Preparation Facility 2, where primarily the fueling of the spacecraft is being performed. The satellite, after undergoing the mandatory checks at the clean room facility and propellant filling operation, has been flagged off from the SP2B facility to the launch pad. In fact, this time the assembly of the satellite to the payload adapter was carried out at one of the clean room facilities before being assembled to the launch vehicle. So what you're seeing on the screen is now the assembly of the IRNSS 1V with the payload adapter on the launcher, and the final activity on the launch vehicle, which involves closing of the payload fairing, also called the heat shield. So once the vehicle is fully assembled along with the satellite and the payload fairing is closed, the vehicle is moved from the vehicle assembly building on the mobile launch pedestal all the way to the launch pad, also called as the umbilical tower. If we look at it conceptually, from the first launch pad where the entire vehicle gets assembled, gets assembled on the mobile service tower. After the integration is completed, the mobile service tower is moved back. Whereas in the second launch pad, the entire vehicle is assembled on a vehicle assembly building on a mobile launch pedestal. After integration, the vehicle is moved to the launch pad or the umbilical tower.
Phase 1 charging of PS2 accumulators started.
Now the countdown is at minus 8 minutes. 8 minutes. A view of the Mission Control Center. Mr. Kiran Kumar, Chairman, ISRO,
Mark,
Secretary,
minus 8
Department of
minutes.
Space.
SDS servers activated.
Sri Kunni Krishnan,
Roger.
Director, Satish Dhawan
Phase 1
Space
charging
Center,
completed.
Sriharikota. So all the,
Mission computers confirms reception of SHAR-1 and
according to
SHAR-2
the,
data.
according to the
Roger.
activities that are going on in the Mission Control Center right now. So with respect to the meteorological environment, today there were 4 balloons that were released to take a measure of the upper winds. The countdown is at minus 7 minutes now. The first balloon was released at 2 hours 45 minutes. The second balloon at 2 hours 20 minutes. The third balloon at 2 hours. And the fourth balloon at 1 hour 40 minutes. The reason for doing this staggered releasing of balloon is to allow them to reach their respective altitudes. So if you look at the automatic launch sequence, which was initiated at minus 12 minutes, we're almost nearing minus 7 minutes, and you can see all the events which are gone so far from T minus 12 to 7 minutes
Mark, minus 7
has
minutes.
been cleared by the onboard computers. Minus 6 minutes to go for the launch. आज के PSLV C-31 रॉकेट का कुल भार 320 टन. ये 4 चरणों वाला रॉकेट IRNSS 1 सैटेलाइट को 244 किलोमीटर पेरिजी और 20,650 किलोमीटर के अपोजिट में इंजेक्ट करेगा. PSLV के काउंटडाउन के अब केवल कुछ मिनट शेष है, 6 मिनट. और यहाँ के मिशन कंट्रोल सेंटर और लॉन्च कंट्रोल सेंटर में अनेक विशेषज्ञ रॉकेट के डेटा के अध्ययन में पूरी तरह से व्यस्त हैं. This is one of the view of the mission control center where all the mission executives are having a very close look at the data. The checkout parameters, minus 6 minutes to go. And as I was mentioning with regard to the meteorological environment and the balloon soundings, the first balloon which gets released at 2 hours 45 minutes reaches an altitude of roughly around 21
Mark, minus 6 minutes
kilometers.
and counting.
The second one at 18 kilometers, third one reaches at an altitude of 12 kilometers, and fourth one reaches to an altitude of 6 kilometers, this being the last balloon that has been
External
released.
power supplies are withdrawn.
Finally, the winds measured by this balloon over various altitude gets combined or synthesized to form a single wind profile from 0 to 21 kilometers. And these winds are then used to generate the steering program for the vehicle during the atmospheric regime of flight. And the advantage of doing this is that this steering program helps in launch vehicle to encounter lesser aerodynamic load, which is one of the very critical factor when the vehicle travels through the atmosphere. And by biasing the steering program to the actual wind conditions, it ensures that the aerodynamic loads during the atmospheric flight has been well taken care. And this steering program gets loaded on the onboard flight at launch minus 45
Stand by for the
minutes.
time, Mark. Mark, minus 5 minutes and counting.
So we are 5 minutes for the launch.
Mission computers confirms reception of radar's data.
अब एक नजर PSLV C-31 के फ्लाइट सीक्वेंस पर. इस रॉकेट के पहले सॉलिड कोर स्टेज के साथ 4 सॉलिड स्ट्रैप ऑन मोटर्स को जमीन पर इग्नाइट कर दिया जाएगा. इसके बाद लगभग 25 सेकंड के अंतर बचे हुए 2 सॉलिड स्ट्रैप ऑन मोटर्स को भी इग्नाइट किया जाएगा. ये सॉलिड स्ट्रैप ऑन जब पूरी तरह बर्न हो जाएंगे तो उन्हें सॉलिड कोर स्टेज से अलग कर दिया जाएगा ताकि रॉकेट कुछ ना जरूरी मंद भार को उठाकर आगे न चले. रॉकेट का फर्स्ट स्टेज PSLV को लगभग 56 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई पर पहुंचा देगा और इस वक्त रॉकेट को 2.4 किलोमीटर पर सेकंड की गति प्रदान कर दी जाएगी. काउंटडाउन इस वक्त 4 मिनट की दूरी पर. On your screen
Mark,
is
minus 4
Mr.
minutes and
Jayakumar,
counting.
who is the project director and also the mission director for this PSLV C-31 mission. A view of the launch control center where the specialists are monitoring the various checkout parameters of their respective systems.
Pyro involvement.
We have another 3 minutes 30 seconds to go for the launch.
Onboard computers in flight mode.
If so, minus 3 minutes 15 seconds for the launch. The launch gun and the fueling complex.
Mark minus 3 minutes.
So mark minus 3 minutes. Two minutes 37 seconds. Mr. Kunikrishnan, the director of Satish Dhawan Space Center, we're just waiting for the final phase of countdown. 2 minutes 25 seconds to go for the launch now. As far as the overall mass of the vehicle at the liftoff is concerned, 320 tons. And the primary orbit that is designated for IRNSS 1E is 284 km perigee and 20,650 km apogee with an orbital inclination of 19.2 degrees.
Mark minus 2 minutes.
So we are just 2 minutes away from the vehicle liftoff.
Charging completed.
All experts at the Mission Control Center, Launch Control Center are closely monitoring the vehicle parameters. So minus 1 minute 48 seconds. So automatic launch sequence is indicating all the various health parameters that are being checked out by the onboard computers.
Mark
It's
minus
showing
1 minute
green.
30 seconds.
1 minute 28 seconds to go. So at T0 we will have the ignition of the S138 stage along with the ignition of the 4 solid strap-ons, and 25 seconds later we will have the ignition of the remaining 2 solid strap-ons. So minus 1 minute 7 seconds.
All stations stand by for the time mark. Mark minus 1 minute and counting.
इस समय हम काउंटडाउन से ऑलमोस्ट 1 मिनट की दूरी पर.
Minus 55 seconds.
All subs armed.
Minus 50 seconds.
All sequences armed.
Minus 45 seconds.
So minus 45 seconds. Minus 40 seconds.
PS2 VSPP opened.
Minus 35 seconds.
Minus 35 seconds.
Roger.
So
Minus
another
25 seconds.
25 seconds.
VSPP opened.
Minus 20 seconds.
Minus 18 seconds.
15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, plus 1.
So first stage ignited.
Plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6, plus
So
7, plus 8.
First stage along with 4 solid strap-ons has been ignited. The liftoff is normal.
Plus 15 seconds.
Liftoff is normal.
Plus 20 seconds.
20 seconds into the flight.
Plus 25 seconds.
Vehicle is in a
Plus 30 seconds.
So as I mentioned to you, at 25 seconds into the flight,
Plus
we
35
have the
seconds.
ignition of the remaining 2 airline strap-ons. So now the vehicle with S139 and the 6 solid strap-ons are going through the intense and
Plus 45
phase of
seconds.
flight, roughly at an altitude of around 10
Plus
kilometers.
50 seconds.
So at 70 seconds into the flight, we will have the separation of the ground-lead strap-ons, which were ignited
Plus 1 minute.
S138 stage. And at 92 seconds, we'll have the separation of the air-lead strap-ons, which were ignited in 5 seconds into the air.
Grounded strap-on separated.
So we just now got the confirmation that the ground-lead strap-ons, 4 strap-ons have been successfully separated at 70 seconds. The vehicle is at an altitude of around nominally at 32.3 kilometers.
Char 1 and 2 main auto.
85 seconds into the flight.
P2 tracking SCPT1.
Plus 1 minute 30 seconds.
At 92 seconds, we should hear, yes,
Six
airlift
strap-ons
strap-on has been
separated.
separated at 92 seconds.
First stage performance normal.
Altitude is 44 kilometers, and the vehicle has moved from the launch base at a distance of almost 65 kilometers. The vehicle velocity, as expected during the first stage of flight, is nearing the first stage separation is around 2 kilometers per second. The next event is at 110.
PS1 stage separated and
94
PS2
seconds.
engine started.
So we just heard the announcement. The first stage has been successfully separated, 111 seconds, and the second stage ignition has been initiated immediately after the separation of the first stage, and the vehicle has also entered into closed loop guidance algorithm.
Second stage performance normal.
So second stage performance has been indicated as normal. If you look at the burn time of the second stage, it burns for almost 145 to 150 seconds. And as per the nominal flight sequence, we can expect the separation of the second stage to happen at 262 seconds when the vehicle is at an altitude of around 134 kilometers with a velocity of almost 5.3 kilometers per second, which basically means the first two stages of the rocket would deliver almost 50% of the velocity which is required for the satellite to reach its designated orbit. So 174 seconds into the flight, altitude is 102 kilometers. During the second stage of flight, we have another important event called as the separation of the payload fairing or the heat shield, which primarily protects the spacecraft during the atmospheric phase and during the intense radiation that happens during the atmospheric phase. And once we are out of the atmosphere, around 110 kilometers plus, the heat shield is separated so that we don't carry any dead weight beyond this particular event. So we just heard the announcement, heat shield has been successfully separated at 198 seconds. और जहाँ तक लॉन्च के टाइम का सवाल है, इस वक्त 213 सेकंड हम सेकंड स्टेज के फ्लाइट में और 30 सेकंड का टाइम बाकी और व्हीकल की ऊंचाई इस वक्त ऑलमोस्ट 123 किलोमीटर and if you look at the velocity, almost 4 kilometer velocity has been added. The nominal time at which the PS2 should separate is 262 seconds. It's around 25 seconds from now. And PSLV performance has been normal. If you look at the plots that were shown on your screen, is the plot of the altitude and the velocity. The flight that is going through the phase right now is exactly following the pre-flight predictions. So any time from now we should hear the announcement. Yes, PS2 has been separated at 262 seconds. And the third stage also has been ignited. A very close match with the pre-flight predictions. So 275 seconds into the flight. Altitude 135 kilometers. And the vehicle has moved almost 650 kilometers from this rear record. As you can see on your screen, all the flight events. Chairman ISRO, Shri Kiran Kumar.
Plus 5 minutes.
5 minutes into the flight, 300 seconds. A view of the altitude and the velocity profiling. What you are seeing on your screen, the bottom curve is the altitude profile. The red curve indicates the pre-flight predictions. And the green shown is the flight measured telemetry data. So very close match with the altitude, time versus altitude and time versus velocity. As per the nominal flight sequence, the third stage should burn out at 386 seconds.
Third stage performance normal.
And after the burnout, we almost have a post-burnout event of almost 200 seconds plus before the third stage gets separated and the ignition of the fourth stage happens. So we are into 345 seconds into the flight with an altitude of 138 kilometers. The velocity is 6.52, all looking nominal.
Plus 6 minutes.
So if you look at the velocity addition that happens during the entire phase of flight, as I was mentioning, during the first stage of flight, we have almost 25% of the velocity addition that has been provided to the vehicle. During the second stage flight, we have, at the end of second stage flight, almost 56% of the total velocity has been imparted to the vehicle. Now the third stage, which ignites at 264 seconds after liftoff, This happens 1 second after the
Combined
early stage
posting has
separation.
started.
At the time the third stage separates, the vehicle is at an altitude of 186 kilometers, and the velocity of PSC separation is almost 7.7 kilometer per second. Now, this mission being a 284 by 20,650, almost sub GTO orbit, the velocity that the vehicle has to impart to the satellite is of the order of 9.6 kilometer per second. So we have almost a 7.34 kilometer per second velocity already imparted to the rocket. 417, 18 seconds into the flight. Probably at PS3 burnout, and then PS3 separation should happen at 605 seconds. So after the burnout of the third stage, there is a coasting time of, as I was mentioning, nearly 230 seconds before the fourth stage is ignited. This is primarily decided by the mission requirements to optimally meet the target condition.
Performance during combined posting is normal.
And PS3 has burnt out, and the vehicle is going through the combined coasting, which is the PS3 and PS4 stage together before it is separated. So coasting is basically the phase where the rocket motors are kept in the off condition. And इस वक्त समय 470 seconds और vehicle की ऊंचाई इस वक्त 160 किलोमीटर, and the vehicle velocity is 7.3. The final velocity that the satellite has to receive is around 9.6 kilometer per second. As I was mentioning, during the coasting phase of flight, the rocket motors are in off condition. At the end of the coast period, the fourth stage gets ignited at 616 seconds and burns nominal for almost 510 seconds. So nominal burn time of fourth stage is 510 seconds, which is going to take the satellite to the required elliptical orbit of 284 by 20,650 kilometer, where the velocity will be around 9.6. So once the target conditions are met, IRNSS satellite will get separated after nearly 37 seconds. So right now the time is 516 seconds with 7.3 kilometer velocity. And as you can see, during the coasting phase, there is a steep rise in the altitude. Even though the perigee is around 284, the final injection altitude is to the extent of almost 450 kilometers. So there is a continuous rise in altitude during the third and fourth stage when the coasting is going on.
Performance during combined posting is normal.
So just heard the announcement. The performance during the combined coasting is nominal. So we should expect the PS3 separation to happen in the next 50 seconds from now, followed by which we will have the ignition of the fourth stage 10 seconds after the third stage has been separated. So we are at 567 seconds. As you can see, because the rocket stage is completely off during this phase of flight, what you will see is there is a drop in the velocity because the vehicle is continuously climbing. The altitude, once the altitude increases, the velocity is going to drop down because there is no finite velocity addition that is taking off if the rocket motors are in the off condition. So once the PS3 stage is separated and PS4 stage gets ignited, you will see as the altitude is increasing, there will be increase in the velocity addition. So we expect something like 2.2 kilometer velocity to be imparted by the PS4 stage. So we just heard the announcement, PS3 has been separated as planned at 605 seconds. Maybe in the next 5 to 10 seconds we should hear, yes, PS4 engine also has been successfully ignited at 616 seconds. So we have view of the mission control center, the VVIP gallery. Just waiting for, yes, fourth stage has been performing nominally. So during this phase of flight, which is a duration of almost 500 seconds, the vehicle from the present altitude of 194 kilometers should reach something like 450 kilometers. And the velocity from the present 7.4 kilometer should take the satellite to a velocity of around 9.6. As you can see on your screen now, the velocity is slowly started to increase because the rocket motor has been ignited. .678 seconds, almost 200 kilometer altitude. As for the nominal timing, that we have with us, the PS4 cutoff should happen at 1122 seconds when the vehicle is at an altitude of 450 kilometers, and 37 seconds later, after the cutoff of the fourth stage, the separation of IRNSS 1E satellite will be executed, which would be at 1159 seconds when the vehicle is at altitude of almost 502 kilometers. So right now we are 712 seconds into the flight, and the satellite with the upper stages almost reach a distance of 3,600 kilometers, which is called as the downrange. The altitude is 208 kilometers. Just a quick details on the IRNSS 1E satellite. IRNSS 1E satellite had a liftoff mass of around 1425 kilograms. And this configuration of IRNSS 1E is similar to that of IRNSS 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D. The two solar arrays of IRNSS 1E, consisting of ultra triple junction solar cells, generate almost 1660 watts of electrical power. And with regard to the attitude or orbit control system, also called as the AOCS of IRNSS 1E, maintains satellite orientation with the help of reaction wheels, magnetic torquers, and thrusters. So four-stage performance is normal. And with regard to the propulsion system of IRNSS 1E, it has a liquid apogee motor, which is primarily used for raising the altitude from its present altitude of from the initial orbit of 284 by 20,000 into the final designated orbit of 36,000 kilometers. And there are also thrusters for maintaining the attitude control. So after injection into the intermediate transfer orbit, these two solar panels of IRNSS 1E will automatically get deployed in quick succession. And the master control facility, MCF, at Hassan will take control of the satellite and perform the initial orbit racing maneuvers, consisting of one maneuver at perigee. So the maneuver strategy from the present position of 284 by 20,650 kilometer will take the satellite to a final orbit of 36,000. So there will be a maneuver performed at the perigee, which is the nearest point of Earth, and there will be three maneuvers that will be performed at apogee for placing the satellite in the final designated orbit. And in terms of the location at which the satellite will be positioned, it will be at a 111.75 degrees location, and the initial inclination of the orbit will be to the extent of 28 degrees with respect to the equator. So 840 seconds. Velocity is around 8 kilometers. PS4 performance is absolutely nominal. Altitude 240 kilometers. Another 1.6 kilometer per second velocity has to be imparted. So we have 860. So something like 250 seconds more to go into the flight. And just moving on to IRNSS 1E satellite, it's as I mentioned, it was a 1425 kg with a dry mass of 598 kilograms. And if we look at the overall physical dimensions of the satellite, it's around 1.56 meters by 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters as the height. And the liquid apogee motor generates a thrust of almost 440 newtons. And the auxiliary thrusters, there are 22 Newton thrusters for AOCS operations. And if you look at the life of the satellite, it's going to be almost for 12 years. So 900 seconds, altitude around 265 kilometers. So by ground station, going to acquire as I was mentioning, during the launch phase of flight, this being the eastward mission from Shar, we have ground stations located at Shar, Port Blair, Brunei, and Biak, and which basically provides the visibility during the entire phase of flight, starting from the ignition of the first stage to the burnout of the fourth stage, satellite separation, and post-satellite separation event monitoring. So 950 seconds, a view of the downrange, very closely following
Plus 16 minutes.
the ground trace. The vehicle has almost reached the orbital conditions now. 967 seconds. So the screen is indicating a perigee of 226 by 7,700 kilometers. So in the next 100 seconds to 250 seconds of flight, we will see the perigee being increased from 228 to 280 and apogee almost going from 8,000 to 20,000 kilometers. And this being a planar mission, whatever the azimuth was selected for the launch with an inclination 19.18 degree has been already achieved. So the remaining phase of flight of 150 seconds is going to impart the velocity totally into the apogee now. So orbit, as I'm seeing on my screen, is 232 by 9,645
Plus 17 minutes.
seconds, kilometers. So 1025 seconds, velocity 8.7, and the vehicle is at an altitude of 350 kilometers. Right now the orbit at this instant of time is 240 kilometer perigee and apogee of 11,500 kilometers.
Fourth stage performance normal.
So fourth stage performance is normal. 1058 seconds. Almost 8.9 kilometer per second. Perigee is nearing its final destination, 250 kilometers, another 30 kilometers to go, an apogee of almost 14,000 kilometers now.
Plus 18 minutes.
Another 40 seconds to go into the flight before we hear the PS4 cutoff and the perigee and apogee conditions required for IRNSS 1E being met. So after the PS4 cutoff command is generated, we will have the separation of the IRNSS 1E taking place at 37 seconds after the PS4 cutoff. Another 20 seconds to go. 1110 seconds, 9.1 kilometer velocity, which is the relative velocity, an altitude of 440, and apogee we are almost reaching the final number, 19,500 kilometer, with perigee has already reached the flight conditions, 282 point something, and PS4 has been cut off.
Injection conditions are achieved.
So at 1124.5 seconds, we have the PS4 cutoff, and the final orbit achieved is 284 by 20,650, 668 kilometers in fact, with an inclination of 19.2 degrees. So very precise orbit. After the target conditions being met, the PS4 stage has cut off, and we'll just hear the next 20 to 30 seconds the separation of the satellite, which is the final event in this particular mission. As always, the IRNSS 1E has been successfully separated from the vehicle at 1161 seconds, and the final orbit indicated is 20,667 kilometer apogee and a perigee of 284 kilometers.
I hereby declare that PSLV C31 IRNSS 1D mission is accomplished.
And the mission director has just made an announcement that PSLV C31 IRNSS 1E mission has been successfully achieved.
BR2 tracking
And the
IRNSS
satellite has been
satellite.
successfully placed in this designated orbit of 284 by 20,667 seconds with an orbit inclination of 19.27. So mission has been successfully achieved. Right now we're just awaiting for Chairman ISRO to come and address the ISRO community. So Chairman ISRO meeting the various dignitaries who are there in the mission control center.
Good morning to all of you. Today, with this new year, we are starting the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite's fifth launch, fifth of the 7 satellite constellation. And with this satellite in place, within our country, we will be able to get 24/7 a good positional accuracy. And let me take this opportunity to congratulate the entire ISRO team for the wonderful work they have done. And we have a long way to go. We have 2 more satellites in this constellation, which we intend to complete in the next couple of months. I request Jay Kumar to say a few words on this occasion.
Good morning. Really, ISRO's New Year 2016 starts with a grand success. Everything went on well with the PSLV C-31 IRNSS 1D mission. In fact, the satellite was injected very precisely into the intended orbit, very close to it. You have seen that the orbit we have achieved. And we have employed the most powerful variant of PSLV XL vehicle for this mission. With that only we will be able to carry these satellites. And like previous PSLV missions, this also has got some uniqueness. In fact, with this launch, we have 3 variants in PSLV, and with this launch, 33 launches we completed. With this, it comes to 11, 11, 11. It's a Coralon 11, XL 11, and generic also 11. So that is, it matches, coincides. And this is the first ISRO's magnificent mission in the new year. Really, it was really went good. Another one is with this launch, all the IRNSS satellites with 29-degree inclination parking orbit, that has been completed in the phase 1 series. And another one is this, we had the last launch on December 16th, exactly after 1 month. We are having one more launch, and it was a long-waited wish of every one of the ISRO team to have PS3 launch every month. So that also has come to a reality, and really it's a great, and let me take this opportunity to express my gratitude each and every one of the ISRO team and all our seniors who have been with us to address the issues and to guide us, and the industrial counterparts who has been always with us meeting our demand, and each and every one of you. And let me wish good luck to the satellite team, satellite director, to the early commissioning of the satellite also. Thank you.
We have Kunikrishnan, Director, SDS Ishar.
Good morning, all of you. We have majestically opened the launch calendar of 2016. In no time, after celebrating the glory of completing 50 launches from Sriharikota recently, today, ISRO has presented a sweet New Year gift to our country. As mentioned by the mission director, PSLV is steadfastly progressing in its reliability race by accomplishing 32 consecutive successful missions through the very precise injection of IRNSS 1E, the 5th navigation satellite in the 7-satellite IRNSS constellation, into the intended orbit. With the remaining 2 satellites to be launched in the next 2.5 months, we are approaching very close to the target of having our own satellite navigation system for India. The coming days in 2016 are going to be very hectic here and very exciting, with a multitude of missions ahead, very clearly defined by our chairman. Both the launch pads at Shar will be utilizing, along with the currently available integration facilities, to their maximum efficiencies. We all need to continue the excellent work we have been doing and to keep up the pace of activities. The magnificent throne of ISRO, the magnificent throne of success of ISRO has been earnestly built by the hard work and perseverance of each member of our ISRO family. And let me salute and compliment each and every one of you who have contributed directly or indirectly towards achieving this wonderful mission. We all should be very proud and take motivation from ourselves for having made a remarkable feat last year. And let's all passionately work for our organization and the country in the coming days and the coming years also. Thank you.
Shivan, Director, VSSC.
First of all, let me congratulate the team ISRO for this wonderful mission, especially the people began this task of achieving this mission in very short time, compressing each activity almost to half of the regular time. I don't want to mention this only particular group, because the group spread across VSSC, SHAR, LPSC, IPRC, as well as ISAC. So let me compliment the team for that wonderful work. At the same time, just few days before that, the Independent Republic Day of India, this is the excellent technology demonstrations. And at the same time, we have a lot of further missions ahead. 3 consecutive missions are planned. And again, once again, I'm sure that this team ISRO will raise to the occasion and make these missions successfully happen at the on dot as planned. Thank you very much.
Sir Somnath, Director LPSC.
Congratulations to PSLV and IRNSS team for achieving this majestic success with PSLV missions. We are very confident of this mission. We are able to repeat it again and again so successfully in the last 32 missions. It shows the reliability, growth of PSLV to such an extent that we are no longer worried about the success at all. The most important thing to mention is that we have been able to produce PSLV and launch in very short span of time. And this was possible only with the support of not only the team ISRO, but also from our industrial partners. If you look at the realized part of PSLV, very significant part, almost 90% of the value addition comes in the industry, and we are able to reduce the value addition taking place within our campus significantly less. And that is why we are able to produce and launch PSLV in so fast pace. And you know, the coming launches of PSLV, also we are targeting to bring down the total time required to prepare and launch very less, as Director VSSC mentioned. I am sure the contribution of all of you in realizing the parts of PSLV, bringing to SHAR and integrating and launching, we will be able to achieve in such short span in the next 2 missions of PSLV this year, and also subsequent missions that are we have detailed for the next few years. Thank you so much. Thank you all the team for. Congratulations also to the team ISRO spread across all the centers of ISRO for achieving this majestic mission once again. Thank you so much.
Rakesh, Director IPRC.
Let me also join my colleagues in congratulating Project PSLV, IRNSS project, our seniors who have been guiding us, participating industries, and all well-wishers for this success. This stream of successes, this is the 32nd successful launch of PSLV, and this definitely gives an opportunity for industries to look at participating in our program in a larger way by adding more value addition in the hardwares and other components that they're making, and invest more and then participate in the program in a larger way in the future. Let me also take this opportunity to remember the contributions from Mahendragiri team for delivering all the systems, subsystems ready in time to make this launch. Once again, and my congratulations to team ISRO, PSLV project, IRNSS project, and all well-wishers. Thank you.
We have Mohanlal, Director IASU.
Respected Chairman, distinguished professors, seniors, dignitaries, and my dear colleagues in various centers of ISRO, let me first congratulate from my heart for the very successful launch of PSLV C31 IRNSS 1E mission. And we had a perfect success. All systems had functioned extremely well, including the redundant strap-down inertial navigation system, which enabled a very precise injection of the spacecraft into the orbit. The rate aero package as well as the aided navigation system have performed extremely well, giving the orbit in real time the exact achieved orbit. And I congratulate the IASU colleagues at this point of time for achieving these particular products I mentioned. By heritage, all the spacecraft systems have been working extremely well, and I'm very confident that they will be working fine as before, in addition, including the systems from IASU, the reaction wheels, the inertial reference unit, the solar array drive, and all those things would be performing extremely well. At this point of time, I would like to congratulate all of you for this grand success. The Indian navigation satellite system is nearing one step further towards its final configuration by having 5 satellites today in orbit, and we have 2 more spacecrafts to be launched in the March. With that, the full constellation will be through, and we will be totally operational in the spacecraft navigation area. At this point of time, let me once again wish all our colleagues of ISRO DOS for the grand success and congratulate for that, and thank you very much.
We have Dr. Annadurai, the director of ISRO Satellite Center, which has built this navigation satellite.
Very good morning to one and all. Launch vehicle team has once again made a textbook launch, and the satellite has been delivered in the destined orbit. And MCF control, Hassan has already taken over the satellite control. And as of now, both the panels are solar array deployed, and spacecraft health is formal. And what next coming weeks, the satellite will be positioned in the intended orbit, and early February, the satellite payload will be tested and ready for the 5 satellite constellation of navigation is concerned. And while doing this, I think I can remember last year, 40 years of Aryabhatta launch we celebrated in ISAC, wherein from that day to now, this is 78th satellite ISRO Satellite Center has delivered into orbit. And furthermore, you look at here next 5 years, similar numbers being talked about to be put into orbit. That means almost every month one satellite will be rolled out. And towards that, next satellite IRNSS 1F is in the thermovac test going on, 1G is in the process. Like that, activities are going on back to these various centers, and the units have contributed this. Today, I would like to thank every one of them. This is a contribution and culmination of the efforts by the design, development, fabrication, testing, purchase, account, admin, medical, library, even the security people who gave the man and facilities security point of view. I think every one of them have contributed. This contribution has to go in multiple numbers when we're talking about multiple launches are concerned. I think this new year, when we are celebrating this, I think this will initiate such a campaign mode of operation from the launch vehicle to satellite operation is concerned. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
We have Tapan Mishra, director, who has built the payloads for this satellite.
वरिष्ठ मुख्य निर्देशक और अंतरिक्ष विभाग और मेरे वरिष्ठ साथियों और मेरे दोस्तों, पहले तो बधाई ये सफलता के लिए और नई साल का शुभेच्छा आप लोगों के लिए। और एक चीज, जो 7 समुंदर भारत को रक्षा करती है, 7 नदियां भारत को जोड़ती है, और आकाश पे सप्तर्षि ध्रुव तारा का प्रति दिशा दिखाती है सदियों से। और अभी महाकाश पे हमारा IRNSS श्रृंखला का 7 उपग्रह जो हमको भारतवासी को भविष्य में दिशा दिखाएगी। आज 5वां का प्रक्षेपण हुई और चंद महीने की बात है जब GPS के जगह IRNSS लेगा। मैं वो दिन के लिए अपेक्षा करता हूँ जब आपका मोबाइल पे आपका सभी एयरक्राफ्ट में अब IRNS का उपयोग होगा। और मैं ये अवसर लेता हूँ मेरे दोस्त, मेरे एक सहकर्मी और मेरे भाई श्री अलग बरिक को याद करने का, जो अभी हमारा बीच पे नहीं है। उन्होंने ये IRNSS पेलोड का प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर थे और उन्हीं का कंट्रीब्यूशन काफ़ी बड़ी है। और मैं आपको बताऊं ये जो एटॉमिक क्लॉक और उसका साथ जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स है वो उनका ही बनाया हुआ है। और जब तक ये एटॉमिक क्लॉक काम करेगा आप सोचेंगे जे इसमें अलग बनिक का दिल का धड़कन रहा है। धन्यवाद।
We have Ramnathan, Project Director, IRNSS.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Chairman ISRO, Center Directors, Seniors, I would like to thank the PSLV team for the successful injection of IRNSS 1E in the desired orbit. The satellite performance is normal and the solar panels have been successfully deployed after satellite separation. Let me take this opportunity to thank the Chairman ISRO, Director ISAC, and the entire satellite teams at ISAC and other centers for their support in realizing this mission. And also thank Mr. Nageshwar Rao, Deputy Director, for his valuable guidance. Meanwhile, IRNSS 1F and 1G spacecraft activities are going on at ISAT for the subsequent launch. Thank you all.
With this, today we have completed the launch of IRNSS 1E. This year we have a long way ahead. We have to complete the constellation. Following that, we have a number of Earth observation satellites. And we also intend to complete this year launch of our GSLV Mark III, which is going to carry a heavier satellites into geostationary transfer orbit. And we have a long way to go. And I would like to remind all my colleagues that while we have started this year with a great success, we need to dedicate ourselves for completing the tasks on hand. Wish you all very best. Thank you.